All right, everybody, welcome aboard here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. It is the eve of the football season. The first football Sunday is just a few hours away. So we got to sit down and let's talk about the preview for the New York Football Giants. So the Giants come into this season coming off of a 4-12 year just last year, a disappointing season, and really this is a team that has had consecutively bad years, year after year, for several years now. It's been a long time coming since the Giants have been a good team and haven't really been to a serious playoff team since their Super Bowl run back in 2011. I know they had the 1 year under Ben McAdoo where they did make the playoffs, but let's be fair, this has been pretty much a bad football team for several years now. So here they come the Giants. Another head coach comes in. This is now the third head coach in the post-Coughlin era, now with Joe Judge. And it's more of a it's supposed to be more of a return to form that we've seen from the Giants. They bring in a disciplinarian, a guy coming from the Bill Belichick tree. And yes, I understand that the history of the Bill Belichick coaching tree has not been that good over the years. I totally get it. We could go to Eric Mangini. We could go through guys like Matt Patricia, who is on the chopping block in Detroit going into this season. It's been a mixed bag of coaches that have gotten head coaching opportunities out of the Belichick system. But a lot of people seem to like what Joe Judge is doing right now. He's instilling some discipline on a team that hasn't had a lot of discipline over the last few years under both McAdoo and then Pat Shurmur. So it's more of a return to form. The Giants, of course, used to that, of course, with Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, basically the period where they've had their most success. So for me, one of the big keys this year for the Giants is going to be seeing how Joe Judge does as a head coach. Remember, a lot of things are different this year, as we all know, with COVID-19. There are no fans in the building this year at the Meadowlands at all for any Giants game or even Jets game for that matter. So there's that less pressure as far as fans in the building. You're going to have less media availability, at least one-on-one availability. So it does change a little bit of the dynamic just a little bit. Not to mention, I think people want to see how Joe Judge does. I don't think there's going to be a real jump to conclusions after 1 year, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does as a head coach managing the New York area, how he does as a head coach managing a football team that has some young budding stars, especially at the quarterback and running back position, and a team that still needs to rebuild its defense throughout the course of this season upcoming. So from that standpoint, it's going to be fun to see the maturation of the head coach with the young football team. That leads into the next big key, of course, that being the quarterback, Daniel Jones. Second year now for Jones, and, last season was kind of what you would expect with a rookie quarterback, kind of a mixed bag. He had some good moments. He had some not so good moments. When the Giants played well and he played well, he would be Danny Dimes. When they didn't play well, he would be, as I like to call him, at the times when he didn't play well, Danny Douche. It was like I said, a mixed bag. Still threw for 3,000 yards, still completed about 62% of his passes, and still threw 24 touchdowns. Not bad at all, statistically speaking, from a young rookie quarterback. And now you give him, hopefully, a healthy Saquon Barkley this time around, and an offensive line that now has had a full year together to gel. Maybe that makes a bit of a difference. Now, obviously, Barkley being healthy is going to be key. Sterling Shepard being healthy is going to be key. Golden Tate, Darius Slayton coming off of a big year last year. There is weapons here for this team. Even Evan Ingram. Is he going to be healthy? If he is healthy this year, that is a big plus too. And let's not forget that the Giants went out there, got the big left tackle they desperately needed in Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. Much like Mekhi Becton with the Jets, Andrew Thomas's development at left tackle and how he does that position is going to be paramount to the Giants' success in 2020. They got to be able to protect the quarterback. Obviously, they got to be able to run a football. Barkley's got to get back to being who he was just 2 years ago. With the Giants when he ran for over 1,300 yards. Last year struggled just to get to 1,000. In fact, it was a miracle he even got to that number. So if he can return to form, if the offensive line can do its job, then maybe this could be an offense this could be a special offense. Of course, a lot of this even falls on the shoulders of the offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, who will call the plays this year, former Cowboys head coach. He gets that opportunity to work with Daniel Jones. And look, I understand the Cowboys over the years were very mediocre teams under Jason Garrett. One thing that wasn't always a problem was the quarterback position, which played very well, whether it had been Tony Romo or Dak Prescott, did well under the tutelage of Jason Garrett. We'll see how Daniel Jones grows under Jason Garrett as an offensive coordinator here in 2020. Another big key to look forward to here this season for the Giants, of course, in the other side of the ball, defense. Pass rush is still, at least in my mind, going to be an issue. And bringing back Leonard Williams on a 1-year deal, basically with the franchise tag, he hasn't always lived up to the reputation. That was his problem with the Jets. It was his problem leaving last year with the Giants. The Giants really need him to step it up big time this year in the pass rush department at defensive end. And then, of course, there was concerns in the secondary. A lot of moving pieces in the secondary. The Giants late in training camp bringing in Logan Ryan, a guy who's a versatile player, could play both corner, could play safety, good veteran guy, good locker room guy, good pickup for the Giants. But we'll see how he does as far as where he's going to slot in, where he's going to be at safety or corner. Very versatile player that can make a lot of big plays. Once he gets going, gets his legs going, Logan Ryan is going to be a big addition to this secondary. But it's a defense that, as far as you look at on paper, is a work in progress. So that could be a situation where the Giants could find themselves in a lot of shootouts, which is something you don't want to be in over the course of a long season. So I think that this is a Giant team going into the year. The expectations are low, as they should be for a team that has not had a winning season in quite some time, for a team that's only been to the playoffs once in the last, almost a decade. So the expectations are going to be low, especially with even just on the surface, rookie head coach, second-year quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new system. It's going to take a while. So let's go right into it. Let's take a look at the schedule. They open up the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home Monday Night Football this Monday. I know Pittsburgh is trying to get back to where they were a couple of years ago. Ben Roethlisberger coming back. I think this is a tough game for the Giants. I give Pittsburgh a win. This will be a loss for the Giants. They start off at 0-1. At Chicago, I don't know what to make of the Bears right now. I'll be plain and honest with you. I don't know what to make of them. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky. I don't trust the Bears. They're a bad football team. If the Giants are going to win a game early in the year, this may be it. So I'll give the Giants a win, 1-1. San Francisco at home, very tough spot. San Francisco will be at the Meadowlands 2 straight weeks against the Jets in Week 2. They'll stick around for Week 3 for the play of the Giants. I will give the Giants a loss here as well. They start off 1-2. At the Rams, and everyone's kind of discounting the Rams this year. A lot of people think they're going to take a major step back. I'm not ready to jump off the Rams or jump on the Rams or terrible bandwagon just yet. I don't love them, but I will say the Rams get the job done here in Week 4. Giants fall to 1-3. At Dallas, very tough spot for the Giants. Think about this. 3 straight games against teams that could be playoff teams. The Niners, Rams, and Cowboys. Another loss for the Giants as they find themselves at 1-4. Finally, they get a bit of a reprieve against the Washington football team. No longer the Redskins. Sorry, can't say that anymore. No longer the Redskins, now the Washington football team. Maybe the Washington Red Wolves by next season. Who knows what their name's going to be. But bottom line is, this is also a football team in Washington that's trying to change the culture a little bit in a big way with Ron Rivera as the head coach. I'm not a big Dwayne Haskins fan. I think the Giants can win this game. I think they will win this game. I'll give the Giants the win. They get to 2-4. At Philadelphia, tough spot. At Philadelphia, short week on a Thursday night. That's going to be a loss. Tampa Bay then comes into town with Tom Brady and company on a Monday night. Very tough spot for the Giants. And this is why this is going to be a rough start to the year for Big Blue. They will be 2-6 at the halfway point of the year. Going into week number 9 at Washington, I could see the Giants losing because, hey, these are 2 teams that are trying to figure things out. But I'll be crazy. I'll give the Giants a W here, a sweep of the Washington football team. Home to Philadelphia. Now, I'm going to say the Giants are going to win this game, and that's because, well, yes, Philadelphia's a good football team. I just got a feeling that they could take a bit of a step back this year. A lot of concern about Carson Wentz. Sometimes he's never healthy. Doesn't play the entire year. They go out, they draft Jalen Hurts. Is he going to be in a quarterback competition later in the year? This could get a little wild here in Philadelphia. let's be daring. Let's say that the Giants are starting to figure things out and starting to figure out who they are at this point in the year. Let's say the Giants get an upset and they get a win against the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Most likely will be a loss, but I'll give them a win here. Then coming out of the bye week at Cincinnati, the Bengals, one of the worst teams in the league right now. Young rookie quarterback. You don't want to overlook this game because they could bite you, especially a young Giant team like this. But I will give the Giants the nod here. And all of a sudden, the Giants have a 3-game winning streak just like that. They find themselves at 5-6 at Seattle. That's a rough spot. That is a rough spot. That's going to be a loss. Big loss for the Giants there. Arizona, good football team. Solid football team. The Cardinals have had the Giants' number over the years. The Giants have not won a home game against the Cardinals since 2005. At some point, that streak's got to come to an end. So I'm going to say the Giants get a victory against what is a very talented Cardinal team. Then in come the Cleveland Browns. I don't like the Browns at all this year. I really don't. And now you got this mess with Odell Beckham. More PR nightmare for another PR nightmare for him. Baker Mayfield's always drawing headlines. I like the Giants at this point. That'll get them to 7-7, believe it or not. And then, of course, the last 2 weeks will be big-time losses. At Baltimore, it's going to be a loss. Ravens are a very good football team. Cowboys will be a loss. Cowboys could be trying to, if not clinch the division, if not clinch a higher seed in the playoffs. And I will say the Cowboys win that game. So, high watermark, I would say the Giants could be a 7-9 team. Most likely, maybe 5-11. Somewhere between 5 to 7 wins. That's where the Giants are going to be here, at least in my mind anyway, in 2020. Now, before we go, very quickly, let's take a look at, since it is the eve of the 2020 season, let's just pull these up here for you. And these are my predictions for the league right now. AFC East, until somebody dethrones the Patriots, until I see it, I'm not going to pick against the Patriots. They're not that great. They're not good. But I'm not going to go against Bill Belichick and company. They'll go win this division at 9-7. I have Buffalo taking a step back, 8-8. Jets 7-9, as you saw in my video earlier. Dolphins still kind of rebuilding right now, and it's going to take them another year, 6-10. In the North, I like the Ravens 11-5, like Pittsburgh 10-6, Cleveland 6-10, and Cincinnati 4-12. I think that's pretty much. I don't think I have to say much about that division. The South, I like Tennessee. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year, but I think they'll be still good enough to win that division. Indianapolis, you bring in Phillip Rivers, reunite him with Frank Reich. I think the Colts could be a wild card contender. I got them at 9-7. Houston looked awful the other day against Kansas City. They take a step back this year, 7-9. Jacksonville, maybe the worst team in the NFL. Maybe. 3-13. Kansas City, I think they just keep rolling right along, folks. I really do. 12-4. And then the rest of the division, I know a lot of people love the Chargers this year. A lot of people love the Broncos this year. I don't. I just don't. I got the Raiders finishing in second place at 8-8. The Broncos have a number of injuries. Of course, Von Miller now out for the season. That's going to hurt them. I still got to see it with Drew Lock. I have to see more than 5 games from him. So I have the Denver Broncos at 7-9. And the Chargers, do I really trust Tyrod Taylor for 16 games? No. They're eventually going to go to Herbert. It's going to be a rough year for the Chargers, 6-10. In the NFC, let's just quickly go through this. I like the Cowboys winning the East, 11-5. Eagles, I think, take a step back this year, 8-8. Giants, 7-9. And the Washington football team, 4-12. In the North, I've heard a lot of big picks of the Lions to win the North. I don't know what you people are smoking. I really don't. Is it because you don't like Kirk Cousins? Is it because you don't like the fact that the Green Bay Packers didn't draft positions of need? That's the only reasons I've heard on the radio this week. No one's given me a reason to like the Detroit Lions at all. So I don't know what people are smoking, but I'm going to stick with the Vikings in the North at 10-6. Green Bay, again, they didn't do a lot to address a lot of big needs. I think they end up going 9-7, and there'll be questions about the head coach after that. Detroit 6-10, as Matt Patricia remains in a hot seat, and Matt Nagy and company go 5-11 in Chicago. You could see 3 head coaching changes out of the North this year. I think that definitely is a possibility. In the South, New Orleans, maybe not a 13-win year. They're getting a little bit up there in age. I don't know if I trust the Saints anymore after all their playoff failures, but I think they will get to 11-5. Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, they will be in a dogfight with Atlanta for a wild card spot this year. I promise you. I'm going to put both teams in the playoffs at 9-7 and Carolina at 3-13. Seattle, I think they will find a way. They're going to be motivated after the way their season ended last year. They could have easily won that division last year. Didn't. They will this year, 12-4. San Francisco takes a step back, 11-5, and Arizona and LA in a dogfight for third place at 7-9. So those are my picks for this year. Going into the season, let's get ready for some football, folks. The season is about to begin. Remember, follow us on social media at OpenMikeNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMikeProgram. Remember, hit the like and subscribe button right here on the Sports Talk Nation. We'll talk to you next time.